Well, hello everyone. I First of all, there's a couple changes. I got myself a little mic because I recognized when I was listening to a couple of the videos that the sound sometimes changes. So I thought I would be a little bit more profesh, get a little mic. The other thing is I've moved again. I am in another sublet just for 4 nights, and then I head off to London for the month of December through the new year, which I'm very excited about. And I wanted to just talk about something that I've been moving through, which is kind of what I do pretty much every time I press record here. But the thing that I've been moving through that's very, very, yeah, it's just super, super strong is this idea of doing nothing, nothing, right? Like imagine everything that makes you feel validated, loved, um, worthy. All of these things were taken away, right? Your partner leaves, your job gets taken away, your I mean, I'm just hypothetically speaking, let's say all of your family goes away and you are just this being in the world without anything around you to anything outside of you to get you to feel worthy, loved, validated, etc. And the reason I bring this up is because one of the hardest things about moving from a conditional existence in life, which is essentially how I was living before I embarked on this incredible journey of surrender, is being in that space of nothingness and allowing all the feelings and all the emotions and all the chatter to arise, to kind of bubble up to the surface that tells me how I'm unworthy, how I can't just live like this any longer, how I have to make something happen, how I have to hurry up and try to create this, try to do this, and what am I really doing in this world? Like everything that is based on conditions to get me to feel lovable, worthy, approved, validated, valued. Um, it puts up this huge fight. So the part that I'm dismantling, the layer that has been so pervasive is this feeling of what if I am just this being existing in the world? Do I deserve to be loved? Do I deserve to have grace? Do I deserve to be in a circumstance, a moment, a conversation, a gathering? If I'm not bringing something of value, and we assume something of value means something physical, something in the 3D reality that we can go, look, I did this. Or I'm a yoga teacher. I can offer my spiritual, you know, guidance, or I'm a meditation teacher, or I'm a photographer, or I'm a singer, or where we assign ourselves these identities, right? And we essentially we put on this um I guess performance or this character, and we say, okay, this is what I do in the world. This is the value that I provide. But what if all of that is stripped away? Where and how do you find value within yourself just being in the world, just existing? Because when you look at a baby, the baby, like when a mother gives birth to a baby, what happens? The parents are, I mean, ideally, in love with the baby. The baby coos, the baby smiles, the baby takes a shit. I mean, it's just like constant in amazement of like, oh my God, it's just constant and complete love. The baby's not doing anything in particular, right? It's not offering like an exchange. I mean, I guess in some way you can say, well, no, Point blank, the baby is just being in the world, just as an extension of the two partners, because I don't know, it could be male, female, 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 male, male, the two partners that have chosen to, out of love, hopefully, to birth this child or to give this child life for the first, however many years. I want to say probably the first 2 to 3 years. It's just unconditional love, or it's just love. The baby is just receiving love just for existing. And somehow we get entrained to live in this 3D world that we then have to do something to receive love. And as children, we're very, very perceptive, right? From the ages from 0 to 7 is when we build all of our beliefs, all of our coping mechanisms. So we are aware, this is how I'm going to get love from my mom. I can please her. Okay. I have to please my mom in order to receive love. And so we end up spending our whole lives in that conditional relationship. As long as I please others, as long as I put others ahead of me, then I feel love. Right. And then we say, oh, that's just who I am, la la la, until eventually one day that coping mechanism no longer works for us anymore, right? We develop some sort of disease or whatever, and it's all because we were pleasing others, putting everybody else ahead of our own priority, right? Or as long as I obey, I receive love, or as long as I stay small, I receive love, right? Whatever it is, we're always negotiating. It's unconscious until later in life we start to work on this stuff and it becomes conscious. So here is the dilemma. I am on this journey now, 3 years, and what I've noticed is the most uncomfortable. I don't know. Again, this is the ego loves to kind of rank everything, right? But it feels this way. It feels, at least in this moment, it's the most uncomfortable. When, especially around my parents, because they were always asking me, what am I doing? And they just can't fathom that I can just be in the world and not, like, have 15 million tasks, to do, because they are two people that get a lot of value in doing, especially my father. I mean, his generation, that's all they did was work, 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 work. And it's nonstop. In fact, he told me he doesn't even like the weekends because he doesn't have much to do. He wants to be doing all the time. And I'm like the opposite. I'm learning how to learn and receive that I am loved and accepted and enough just by being in this world. I do not have to produce anything, generate anything, give anything, offer anything. I am just love. That is inherently who we are. And when I made this first awareness was, or when I had this epiphany was, I was visiting home last year at this time. And my father, he was going through something physically, which is why I went home. And so I really made it a point to, like, be there all the time. And he made a comment, which I was offended by, which was like, you can go, you can work or do something else. Like, he didn't want me around so much. And of course I got offended. I understood what he meant, though, which, regardless of that, I remember in that moment thinking, well, I don't have work right now. And it was so uncomfortable for me because so much of how we relate in life, especially with our parents, is by telling them what we're doing and accomplishments. And I've got this thing coming up and that thing coming up. And so when you don't have that, it's very uncomfortable to allow what bubbles up. And for me, it was like, can I be loved? Can I be of value? Can I be enough? Just being in your presence is that enough? And so I remember going to the park, and I got locked into that program. I should be doing more. Oh, right. Yeah, like I should be doing more. Okay, well, maybe this is time, to I don't know, put out an email or blah blah blah. Whatever, I was trying to come up with something to do. And I sat in the park and I was like, but my soul, I know, is not telling me I have to do anything. And we think, or I certainly thought, that being of service, which was something I've said from the get go, I just want to be of service. Universe, use me up, however you see fit. I'm done trying to make something happen, right? I thought being of service was still doing something. I had to be something for someone else, and that's being of service. And that's not true. I realized the only thing that our soul, the universe, is ever asking of us is to be in this moment fully. That's it. Our full awareness, our full attention to this very moment. Think about how powerful that is. Think about what that requires. That requires a quieting of any kind of past scenario, any kind of future anticipatory thought. It means just being fully present right now. And that's it. That's enough. That alone is everything. In this moment, there's everything available to us, but we rarely will allow ourselves to just be present because we're always doing something, or answering this text, or thinking about what we're going to do next, or did I, tell this person that I told I'm sorry for blah 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 blah, or we're hanging on a conversation that we had 2 days ago or 3 years ago, whatever it is. We are rarely fully present. And so when I made that awareness and had that huge epiphany, I was like, oh my God, I don't have to do anything to be love. In fact, all I have to do is just be my own existence, the very moment you are born, the way that you are loved for just being you. That's exactly what we come back to. That's exactly what we forget in our lives, is all that's required, because love is who we truly are. And really, what is love? Because I even was journaling around that. Because love gets so, it's so tainted, right? We put all these conditions on love. But when we really think about it, like, if we were to show up across somebody just being fully present without any agenda, without having a preconceived idea of how we want to be perceived, like just no judgment, no agenda, fully present, think about how you're going to feel sitting across from somebody like that. The same way I think a lot of animals allow us to just be and receive unconditional love. They are a prime example, because although you can say, well, I trained my dog or cat to da 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 da, and that's why I love them, for the most part, they're pretty loyal and lovable creatures. Um, and they don't care if we have a bad day, and they don't care if, you know, we could be gone for 2 weeks, and rarely they're, especially dogs, like usually they'll just be so excited. They usually are just so excited to see us, like at any point, any day. We go to the bathroom, we come back, they're excited to see us. You know what I mean? So that level of just existing, just being, is worthy of their love. So why don't we feel that way in life? And that is something that I have been moving through, because of the honesty that I've now shared with my parents, the truth of how I'm living, which you can see here. I don't want to hide this part of me. I don't want to make up a story or try to make it seem like I'm doing so much just to like keep the conversation going, or just trying to relate in some way. I just want to be. And I do believe like you can feel that. I've always been told, "Oh, you have such good energy," or just your energy kind of calms me. And I really do believe it's because I've done so much of this inner work to get to a place, and I'm still working on it, where I can just be. But it comes from, at least now, learning how to love myself without being the doing self, you know, separate from, if I produce anything, if they write anything, if I share anything, which was the whole why I said, I don't I don't need to be a life coach or a soul guide or an artist or a writer or whatever, yoga teacher. I don't need to be these titles to prove that I'm worthy of being loved or valued, right? I inherently am, just like you are. You don't have to do anything to be worthy of love. And I guess a deeper question is, how do you instill that? Well, if you're like me, you move through it by experiencing it and experimenting, right? So it's like everything was taken away. You witness what arises, all the contrast that tells you you're not worthy, you're not lovable, you can't just do nothing. Like, who are you to exist in the world? Oh my God, age always shows up. The programming is always about you're 50 and you're not da 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 da. You know, it loves to do that to taunt, right? It just kind of drags you. You just witness, you watch it, and eventually you get to a place where you just it becomes a knowing. At least that's what I want to say I'm hopeful for, but it's more like I guess I'll just know when the contrast dies down. There's not so much of it. You know, I think I'm quicker at recognizing it, but I caught myself the other night. I don't even know what triggered it. Maybe I was watching a documentary. That tends to do it because it's like all about somebody's journey and all the things that they did. And I have to remember, like, this is a journey back to that unconditional state of being that is unconditionally loved. I don't have to do anything to receive that love. And that takes a lot of practice and a lot of time. Yeah, to keep practicing, you know? And so I'm curious, how would it feel for you? Where would you receive that love? What comes up or bubbles up? Are you somebody that, like, that's just crazy, you can never imagine not doing anything in the world, like, you know, a lot of guilt comes up, especially for women. How can I just enjoy myself? You know, I've got to have 500 things on my task list, you know? And yeah, so it's a practice. That's it for today. Sending you guys so much love. Next time I will talk, oops, it'll be in London. Take care, everyone. I hope you had a beautiful Thanksgiving.